3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
Welcome back to I always do that, to Grounds After Rounds. We are joined today by a friendly, familiar face that some of you have not seen. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, clearly you're not seeing it. But Shannon Corey is back with us, folks, from the great state of Texas.
His country.
That one was for you, Shelly. I'll tell you all about that's in our, as Eric likes to say, our Patreon stuff, though we don't have a paid subscription, but our pre-show discussion of the, what would you say, Shannon, the uniqueness of Texas and their perspective of their relationship with the rest of the United States?
Oh, yes. They are definitely, we are in the nation of Texas.
Bless their hearts. Bless their hearts. But yes, Shannon is kicking off our possibly new series of Fairwinds, CrossFit's Behind the Fitness. Where are they now? AKA VH1's Behind the Music. Where are they now? But that's my version of Fairwind CrossFit's Grounds After Rounds, blah blah blah. Behind the Fitness. Where are they now? And so Shannon isn't with us anymore. You're in Texas, and yeah, but you have found yourself a new CrossFit home. Yes.
Yeah. It's funny. Before I did CrossFit, I always likened finding new running partners to like dating. And yes. I feel like finding a new CrossFit gym is like dating.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like the workout, it's the people too. And it's the approach to it. And I never, like, y'all were the first gym I went to. And then
we were like your high school sweetheart.
And the reason why, I think I told you that before, the reason why I went to you guys is because I had 2 jobs. I was all by myself with the 4 kids, and it was like 5 minutes from my home. It worked,
Exactly. You needed some socialization with real human beings.
I did. Although I'm not sure 5 o'clock was the best time.
Right, true. By the end, right? Like kind of the after everyone had finally woken up and the coffee had kicked in. So
yeah. So I went. I'll be honest. I tried to do the off the creek. I'm doing a finger like we're going down the coast there. Like our drive. But it was just, I would get like maybe 2 a week. It is hard to do CrossFit without a community.
Yes.
I don't know how people do it out of their gyms by themselves,
like
or
in
just
garages. Yeah.
And
well, that was, you had said one of the things that really had appealed to you was sort of the sense of a team, having done water polo through college and stuff. And that did, and coupled with that was sort of like the competition aspect of it, but sort of the healthy competition that, yes. And I remember your first day when I tried to scale you, and you looked at me like you were going to shiv me in the back the second I turned around. But at the same time, realistically giving yourself the chance to be competitive, but also be, 30 something, 40 something, 50 something person who shouldn't really be pushing themselves and hurting themselves for the sake of absolutely nothing. So it was you described it very well, that sort of balance of being a part of a team again, having a healthy balance of competition and realistic expectations of where you are physically. And then learning something new. I liked that too. You mentioned that it was cool to be a beginner again and have things that you weren't, that like you had done cleans, you had done some Olympic lifting and stuff, but some of the gymnastic stuff was sort of challenging.
Yeah.
But I also said, you also said it was also, there was some anxiety around like not knowing what to do. And this wasn't actually in the podcast, but you and I had a conversation before you were leaving of like, well, are they going to answer my questions? Are they going, are they going to be willing to answer like all of my questions?
I do ask so many questions. And poor Amy and Shelly, because I had my little square, and then Amy would be in front of me and Shelly would be behind me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I know this is your workout, but the first gym I went to, there was no question asking at that gym.
Oh boy.
Just the feeling, like there were way too many people in a class. It was like 20 to 1 coach.
Okay.
And you lined up in your boxes down the row. And everybody just, no one introduced themselves. They all looked like they knew what they were doing. Like, I was like, I'm not asking questions. I'm just gonna do my own thing over here. And then the second gym, they cap it at 12 people per class, 10 people per class. But most of them only have, like, I think the highest number was 9 in a class. So like ours, really small. And everybody introduces themselves, the coaches, because the first gym I went to, they did not take the time to find out about me, my background or anything. And like you guys do, with the onboarding session. And then the second gym, even though I told them I did CrossFit before and I was just coming for a day, she made sure to ask me, she opened Pandora's box. She's like, do you have any previous or current injuries? I introduce you to my broken body.
Let me start at the top and work my way down. You stop me when I hit too much.
But I was glad that she asked, because at the gym, I was trying to scale by myself. And just because of what y'all had taught me, see, y'all, I'm here now. What you guys had taught me, but I wasn't quite sure if it was always the right thing to be doing for the exercise that we were doing. And then I felt like an idiot because I felt like I was just doing my own thing in the corner.
So what drew you to the first place? Just locale, or sort of it was the first one on the internet search? Do you know, I'm always curious about that, like that process of, for us too, like I ask folks when they come to us, like how they found us, what it was. Is it, distant? Nine times out of 10, it's distance to house. But yeah, what made you choose the first one?
Shelly,
and then
I asked Shelly, since she's from Corpus, and I think her niece or her friend's niece or someone lives here, and they went to a gym out on the island. And I was like, okay. And so when I looked it up, it was part of this bigger syndicate, but I guess they've just been bought out by the bigger kind of gym.
Okay.
That was here. So when I did the search on SugarWOD for gyms,
So that's how you used SugarWOD, not just a Google CrossFit search.
Right, because I tried to look for the one that Shelly had told me about, but I couldn't find it online to connect. So then I went to SugarWOD and did a Google search for Corpus. And it was the first one that came up. They had a great website. They had great marketing, So I was like, all right, this is like right down this road. Because of course I don't know very many places now. So I'm like, it's right down this road. I should be good. So that's how I found the first one.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, whatever. What was the name of the first one?
I feel bad. Contender.
CrossFit Contender. That was the name of it.
Contender CrossFit.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
they're
might have
like huge gym.
Like physically really big.
No, like a big, like the gym's big. They have a lot of people in their gym. Then they have now the one on the island, which was too far for me to go to, which used to be Whitecap, which is the one that Shelly recommended to me.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was really big. The other thing was that Ian came with me on a workout because he really loved CrossFit too. And I love that we could do it together. And he came with me, and it was like he was an adult. And I'm like, okay, this is a teenager. He's not your kids. Like your kids go in there and they know because they've had you training them.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he's not quite there yet. And again, there was no one to help us. So I was coaching him, and I'm like, that's not like
we could just do this in the garage, buddy.
Yeah. So Yeah, it just was not friendly. Yeah, was it like what you guys had taught me?
Yeah, it always makes you wonder, and that's it's interesting. We had I forget who was traveling come back, and Brian had stopped in at a couple on the Cape, and sort of the same flavor, where it came in, workout or the warm-ups on the board, everyone just sort of starts themselves, does it. And then the coach is like, okay, you got 10 minutes, go ahead, build up to a heavy front squat. Okay, 10 minutes is up. Now break your barbells down and we're going to do this AMRAP, 3, 2, 1, go. All over. Great, cool. See you all tomorrow. And there was sort of like the timekeeper and the cat herder. And it's interesting. I said to him, I said, I'm kind of glad you had that experience. And I'm kind of glad that you had that first experience as well, because what a lot of times you hear is, there's 14,000 plus affiliates around the world. That's actually kind of common, most of them. And so I always wonder, how does a place like that get away with charging a certain amount of money each month and people are liking it and coming back. So somewhere at some point, some of the same things that we facilitate and this other place facilitates happens, but is it being done organically? Is it being done explicitly on purpose by the place? And in the end, I think it comes down to, it's the efficacy of the methodology, that like you could be really, really bad at coaching CrossFit, and you could be a really bad affiliate. But if you're at least doing like 80% of the methodology, it still freaking works. That's kind of impressive. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, and I think you retain your population, because that's not a gym I'm looking for at this point in my life. I will hurt myself.
Gotcha. So there's an audience that wants that. They want the bigger class. That's a good point. They want the
like the competition aspect.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the name, right? Contender. Could have been a contender.
Like it was, like the competition aspect. I do CrossFit, so I'm, I don't swear very much, but I can't think of a better word, but I do CrossFit, so I'm a badass. So I can't
believe you were a little shy of saying ass. That's not a swear word. Shannon, you're married to a guy in the Navy, for God's sakes. I mean, come on.
I go to functions and I hear it all, but at home.
Oh, that's funny. Well, so
like you. Sorry.
What's that?
The other gym is very much like you. Like the other gym I found was Main Gate Fitness, and it's right outside the front gate, Main Gate Fitness.
So funny. That was actually when we were getting ready to start Blue and Gold on the Academy. I actually floated that name to CrossFit HQ because we were looking for a site off the yard, and there was a where that True Value, where Mission Barbecue went in eventually, that was open for a while. And so I explored, like, could we find it there? And I was going to call it Main Gate CrossFit. So it never happened. I mean, it never got off. It was like, there would have been a lot more steps for that to happen, but that's cool. That's a cool name. So when you went in, just you that first time when you went to it, that first class?
Yeah, I just went. Yeah, I always try it the first time before I'll take Ian with me. Well, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and Ian's like, I don't do 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And
so how's it been since you kind of like, that's your place now? So are you going pretty consistently? Is it part of the routine?
Yes. So both of the gyms down here had a different kind of, they do a 3-day a week or an unlimited.
Okay.
And so I found that for my, just like we said before, my broken body, 3 days a week is my sweet spot. If I like on the times I go 4, my hip especially is just, it just hurts a lot. So I bought the 3-day a week now for Drew. I got Drew into it.
Nice.
So, yeah. So he's been onboarded. He's like, I don't think so I took him the first day. I went and then I took him with me because I was like, this is a great gym. And so he went with me and he's like, man, I haven't done that stuff in a long time. No. And so I said, I think you should meet with them to do the onboarding session. And because Bria, the head coach, had said, she had said, you can do it or you cannot since you've done this in the past. So I said, I think you need to do it so that you can learn the scaling and just where you are. And he said, okay. So he just got through that. So he's doing it now too. So for me, I go 3 days a week. With his membership, because he's military, it's unlimited anytime he wants to go. So, and then Ian, sorry, go.
Not only can he go anytime he wants, they gave him a set of keys. They asked him if he wanted free barbells. I mean, again, folks, our reference to Texas's effusive treatment of the military which is a great thing, right? But it can get a little awkward sometimes.
Yeah, so he started going, and then I took Ian once because they don't have anything like Creek Beast around here, which is a shame. Like they had a youth class there, but it was they said their oldest was like 12. So it's more like that 8 to 12 range.
Yeah.
And so, and with his swim dive schedule, it doesn't work in with the class times, but he goes with me sometimes on the weekends because they'll do free community workouts. And so he'll just do those. So
yeah, Eric's Beast program is unique. I mean, there actually isn't a whole lot of there isn't a whole lot. I mean, even the ones around here don't have something as robust as he's created. So I'm not surprised to hear that. It is, the teens program is a very difficult animal to start and to sustain because they leave. They go to college, and so you only have them for about 4 to 5 years. And yeah, you're feeling this. Their schedules are crazy. I got violin, I've got piano, I've got swimming, I've got football, I've got this, I've got that. And so why do another hour of just strength and conditioning? What I think Eric has found a sweet spot is kids that don't generally do your traditional kind of football, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, all the what I mean, like all the standard high school sports, don't really dig the kind of competitive athletics. And so Beasts, the CrossFit is awesome because they are athletes. They do need to move. And it's, as somebody said, you get that sense of team, that little bit of balance, healthy competition, and you're surrounded by people that actually give a crap about you.
Well, and I feel like the way that Eric does it with Creek Beast is I was looking for someplace because Ian is a bigger than average kid.
Oh, that's right. I remember you were saying, yeah. I saw the picture of him, your guys' farewell picture.
He's 5'11" and then has a size 13 foot, and he's 14. Like he's built.
He falls over, trips over everything all the time.
And so I wanted to, and meanwhile, his brother and sister are 5'9", 5'10", like 5% body fat, and I wanted to show him he was strong. And by getting him into CrossFit, and Eric, I mean, he does some amazing things with them feeling success, like not, because that was the thing that I saw when I got here, was that he can't do an adult class because he's not quite there yet. Eric builds them up. Like he doesn't tear them down to build them up.
Yeah.
He meets them where they're at, and he builds from there and makes them feel success and strength and every little, it's an awesome, from a teacher standpoint and from a parent standpoint, it's an awesome program.
I agree. Yeah. And it's not on accident. You know what I mean? Like I've watched Eric grow as a coach and as a professional for the last 10 years. I mean, it truly, it's on purpose. Like he does know, and he does his research, and he reaches out. He's, you know what I mean? He didn't going back and forth with a handful of folks that run their own programs around the country. And yeah, he is the master of taking and blending from other people into his own style and then making it its own unique thing. So yeah, I agree. It's, the sports are coming back around here. And, we're losing a couple kids, but it's been a very cool, you get the email from, the mom or the dad, like, little Bobby's got to, take the fall off. And so I email back, yeah, no problem. We suspended their, we canceled their membership for, months, looking forward to come back. Oh, they'll be back. Baseball's over or whatever, swimming's over December something or something. They'll be back on December 14th. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it's fun. I forward those to Eric and I'm like, think you got your hooks in a couple of these folks, buddy. So I gotta, like, you've said a couple of things, but explicitly, how do you feel like we Fairwinds prepared you to be able to sort of make this move? And you could look at it another way, like, did we successfully infect you with the CrossFit cult virus? And you know what I mean? I mean, I would say yes, the fact that you now have your husband doing it as well.
Yeah, if you ask Drew, then yes.
But like, what do you think? What are like a couple things that we did to kind of make that happen?
I think the biggest thing was community. Just the community at Fairwinds, especially that 5 a.m. class, was awesome. Just so encouraging.
Don't tell 6 and 7, but 5 a.m. is my favorite. I say the exact same thing to 6 a.m. when after I'm like, I know they're still outside, but I got to tell you guys, you're my favorite.
You're my favorite. I use that with my kids. Like if my kids are like, that's not fair. You let Grace do that. I'm like, don't you know it's because I love her more.
Yeah, just right now. It's just right now that I love her more. It's just give me 15 minutes. I'm sure one of you will probably be my new favorite.
Yeah, it was the community, but I think even more than the community was the amount of teaching that you do to make us independent, like either through the podcast or during class, because it gave me confidence to try it down here. And when I think I'm in a very different place, which is unusual because I haven't been doing it for very long, I think 6 months, but I'm in a very different place now than I was when I first started, just because of kind of the medical news that I got, that I needed a hip replacement, that this is not going away, and I'm going to need one on the other side, and just trying to redefine for myself what I want out of physical fitness.
Yeah, like as an athlete. I mean, like it has to be a lifetime thing. So
yeah,
you were a runner and you kind of ran your hips.
Yeah.
Ran them dry.
I can't do that anymore. So what's it going to look like for me knowing that this is the way my future is headed just because of my genetics, my history, everything. And I'm so appreciative because when I went to Contender, I didn't hurt myself. No one was coaching me, but I didn't hurt myself because you guys have taught me so much. And now that I'm at this new gym, I do ask questions. Like the other day we were doing an AMRAP. It was like a 20-minute AMRAP. And I just asked, I was like, so my typical question. So is this like, do you want to go out hard right away? Is this more pacing over the time of the AMRAP? And she's like, that's a great question.
She means it. Like, that's the thing. Like, you guys all ask good questions. Half the time, if it's frustrating, it's because it's like, damn, I probably should have, I forgot to brief that earlier or something. You know what I mean? Like the frustration is seldom, I don't want you asking questions. It's the like, oh yeah, good one. Should have thought of that. So yeah, that's a legitimate response. I'm glad you asked it. And she responded that way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there were other people there that respond the same way that people at Fairwinds did. When I'd ask a question, like not, gosh, that's the lady at the faculty meeting asking me. It was like, no, that was a great question. Like, but I think the other thing was like through the podcast and through classes, you guys made me feel comfortable with where I'm at. and knowing, because I just had this conversation with Drew about that one day that you told me we discussed, I think it was on the podcast, about discussing my obsession with doing the numbers on the board or running mileage on the walk, like on the watch. Like that's my type A obsession. But after you explained to me the stimulus of the workout and the goal of the workout, and that I'm doing just as much as that person over here because we have both have the same intensity in the workout, like that, those little teaching moments made a huge difference for me and my confidence coming into a gym, and going to a gym where they preach the same things.
Good.
Makes it easier, if that makes sense. Because the one thing that they do at this gym that I'm a little bit uncomfortable with is they write your name on the board for every class you come to, and they record, like they'll say, Shannon, what's your AMRAP? And mine will be like maybe 5 plus, I think the other day it was 5 plus 62, which was more than this guy over there that was, lifting kettlebells as big as his head. And I'm like, yeah, but that was like with my step ups and my 5-pound bar. And, and she's like, hey, you did the same workout. She gave me back what you guys would have given me back.
That's cool. Totally. Yeah. That's really cool to see. I mean, we used to do the same thing. That's the old school style of sugar wad, is the whiteboard. And there's a power in it. There's a worth in it, because there's accountability. There's a de-escalation of feeling like, well, I didn't do the same thing as somebody else. You know what I mean? It's sort of an in-house low stakes leaderboard to both facilitate accountability, but also de-escalate the sense that I'm not good enough. And so you can see sometimes your name up there as the best score of the day, or people in the afternoon can come in and see what other people scored. Unfortunately, what I found, we lost the whiteboards because they sucked and they were disgusting on that side of the wall. And so we replaced it with the cool wood. But when we came back from the pandemic, not having the whiteboards, I found was a significantly more welcoming way to let people post it on SugarWOD, and it sort of was out of sight, out of mind, and it de-emphasized that needing to get reps. Today's workout, it's a fight gone bad, AMRAP-y kind of time priority, and there's handstand walks in it. And so, like, how do you score handstand walks? You score it by feet, but what if I've scaled something, and how do I? And so I like blatantly gave people the most random, like 10 shoulder touches counts as 1 rep, but 1 walk around the box counts as 4 reps. And if you do your bear crawl across your square and back, that's 1 rep. You know what I mean? Like, I just made up numbers. I was like, if you haven't picked up what I'm putting down, it doesn't matter. Like, this is whatever you do, just be consistent across the 4 rounds. And I feel like for us, getting away from the whiteboard is what allowed us to make it more about, as you said, each day's individual stimulus, rather than what did Mike do? I got to get what Mike did. So what are they doing better? What do you like about this new box that you're kind of like, what you guys should do?
Well, I do. Well, it's funny because you guys just started back with the paddle boarding. I saw that y'all did some.
We did some stuff over the summer. Yeah, we're trying to get out of the box.
I thought that was really cool when they did the beach workout.
Oh, they did one down there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm like, I'm on the beach doing. Now, kicked my butt. I couldn't finish it, but I'm like, I'm on the beach doing CrossFit.
Did they get in the water? Did you guys actually get in and go swimming?
So it was all in the sand, but afterwards, because you are disgusting. Because it's like, today I did, I did a walk run today, and it was like 102 out when I did it.
Oh, God. Texas.
Yeah, South Texas. So when you get done, you're just disgusting, because you're like, it's like your kid when they're a baby and you take them to the beach and it looks like they just like rolled in the sand.
You can't put enough baby powder on them to brush all that sand off.
No.
You just got to like, just by the feet, dunk them in the tub and pull them right back out.
Yeah, no, we didn't go out in the water. It was all on the beach, but it's a lot of fun. It's just
That
a lot
is
of fun
cool.
and they only do one and they cancel classes for the day. So you get to see everyone. And it's almost like going back to school because you start out with a name game type thing. And so that was really fun because we got to meet everybody. And I've been playing around with the times I go because of the kids' schedules, the weird scheduling down here. And so it was nice because at the 9 o'clock class I went to, this one guy's like, "Hey, you're Shannon, right? I remember you from the beach workout," which was really cool.
That is really cool.
So yeah, so that's really cool.
Fun.
So I also like they switch around the coaches. Like they never coach, which might be a nightmare for the coaches because I was thinking about it's got to be a nightmare for their schedules. But I've had every coach, even though I've only gone to 5 and 9 o'clock, I've had every coach that coaches at the gym, which is pretty cool too, because they all have slightly different styles and you get to know them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally. I actually, the first place was second, third place I'd coached, but where Eric and I met, Old Bay, the owner of and manager, she required coaches to kind of, she'd be like, "I get it, your schedules, you can have your own coach or your class," but she was sort of like, she wanted folks to kind of rotate around in classes. Mm-hmm. It was funny. We all the coaches like just basically ignored her. And we all just coached.
It must be a nightmare for them.
It is. Well, especially because like, I couldn't coach anything but the mornings because I was teaching at the academy. Nicole was coaching at the time and she couldn't coach anything but the afternoons the evenings because she had to wait till I got home and then she could go back and then coach because I had the boys. Yeah. And then other people like had their set schedules. One guy was a cop and like, so it was sort of, it was like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but no, like I'm going to coach these classes. That's what I do. So I think that sort of has stuck within me of, I like that. Eric has actually pitched it recently, like maybe a couple months ago, of doing sort of like a week guest coach, where like he would coach all the, and so actually this summer when we were taking vacations, that kind of happened organically. But yeah, I wrote that down. I like that because it does clearly, there is a positive affect for you as the athlete to get a chance to see all the different coaches and be coached by them, but you don't have to change your schedule. And so in the end, it's not about us, it's about you. And if your experience is better, that's a good business move. That's a good just professional move, not from a, just a business standpoint. I like that. That's pretty cool. What do you miss? What do you miss about the creek?
The cool morning.
It's been, I would say it's been sweaty here the last couple of weeks. It doesn't matter. I'm sure if we were in Corpus, most of us would be like, "Oh my God, it's even hotter down here. How is it hotter?"
Well, I told you I came home one day. Oh, you think I was the chalk queen there? I'm like, it is like I dived headfirst in the chalk here. Because I said to Drew, I'm like, I don't even know how I can get a PR on a lift here because I'm not so worried about how heavy I can lift it as if I'm going to totally drop it because you're just like pouring sweat. It's just like I'm sweating from my knees, I'm sweating from my elbows. You just pour sweat. And it's funny because I think, like I always said to Drew, I'm like, I think God sent us to Ghana before here because
so you can get used to it.
But I miss the people. Your gym is so clean.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
And the gyms, both of them that I was at, nothing is labeled. And I get like, I don't know what I'm picking up. Can you just, I don't know what pound and it's not like, yeah, I miss the orderliness. I know that's terrible.
Well, that makes me a little happy.
So just, the community. And I think it's funny because I think I went out and found a gym that was super similar to Fairwinds. So
you should, and I always it's a buyer's market. You're the end user, and you should find what you like. And the power of, even with CrossFit, now called CrossFit Home Office, not CrossFit HQ, they're demilitarizing a lot of their metaphorical language within CrossFit Inc., which I am appreciative of. So CrossFit Home Office is pushing a couple new things, one of them being affiliate programming. So they purchased, or I think they acquired, one of the commercial programming companies, and they kept everybody on board who was doing it. And they were all level 1 staff guy, like they were all CrossFit employees in another capacity. So it was an easy sort of, but we're looking to start using it. And
they started here.
Oh yeah. So the CrossFit affiliate programming.
Yeah, because that was one of the questions I asked, because I was like, I texted my friend Jen, who got me into CrossFit too. And I was like, hey, what should I ask him about programs? She's like, ask him who writes their programs, know, and at Contender, I felt like, because I joined the CrossFit feed on Facebook. I'm not really on Instagram, but I joined that, and it looked like it was just the WOD of the day. Like there were no scaling options. There was no nothing. There was not anything. And then this gym, I just asked her because one thing that they do that I really like is on the whiteboard, they put the warm up, which you had said this about in the podcast. I think it was the last one, but it's helpful. It's helpful for people like me who are like short-term memory at 5 a.m. Can't remember what you just said.
Yeah. So I have started writing some of it. Like I'll put, if we're doing something like an AMRAP or like an, alternating EMOM like today, because for that very reason, and I make fun, I say like, and for those of you that don't even remember what I said the first time, the first movement we're going to do now, I wrote it up on the board for you. It's over there. But yeah, there's worth to it. But as I said, there's also, I don't want to be tied to it. Do you know what I mean? Like it needs to be able to be malleable and flexible based on who's in that class. And so you at 5 a.m. need to be able to have a warm up that facilitates you being able to move well into the class. And it doesn't always have to be the same warm up that 6 a.m. does. That's more for the coach to have a template. But yeah, this programming, that home office is doing things to create some uniformity across the affiliates. But in the end, it's always our choice. And the market will bear what the best quality, the best experience, in the sense that the market will decide. And that's, the remnant of Glassman's libertarian sort of free market concept, that other box, they're doing something right because they're acquiring and becoming larger, and they got people filling the asses in seats in those classes. And so there's something about it that is appealing. Awesome. And the fact that it wasn't appealing to you, but you were able to find another place, that just makes me so happy, because in the end, we're all in the same business of just keeping ourselves as fit and as healthy as possible.
Well, and that's what Main Gate, I think their slogan is like lifetime fitness or something. Cool. It has nothing to do, it's like building fitness through life or something like that. And there's actually a guy in one of the classes that's almost 400 pounds that comes to CrossFit. Wow. And she said, most people look at him and say, well, can he do in CrossFit? And she's like, well, there's a lot. And
he's showing up, because you're not, like that's how I would get answered. It'd be like, where are you? Like, why aren't you here?
And I found that also, like, the community at the other place was not very varied, but the community at this place was varied, like our classes were.
Cool.
You know, you had your people who lifted dumbbells as big as their heads, and then you had people that were in there just trying to get strong for life, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it called Main Gate? Are they near something?
Oh, maybe the main gate of NAS.
Are they? Are they like right outside the main? That's awesome.
Yeah.
So they're there with like the payday loan places and the liquor store and the barbershop and the
club and the
yeah, nice. Now, so CrossFit has now made it. Yeah, they've now made it to the Navy. Yeah, and it's all in like a strip mall right down. Yeah, which
early.
Fort Meade just had, oh God, you get there early and you see everybody rolling out of the strip club in their still in their clothes. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, so somebody asked me the other day, what do you get when you cross an elephant with a rhinoceros?
I have no idea.
Hell if I know.
That's terrible. That was terrible. That was terrible. I wish I could remember right, because it was a terrible, terrible dad joke. It was awesome though. It was terrible, but it was awesome because we say them all the time around my house.
So here's another one. Somebody, oh gosh, I had to write this one down too. Sorry. I personalized it, but it's now I can't remember. Oh man.
So upset.
There it is. Hey, did you hear they recently found evidence of the medieval knight who supposedly built King Arthur's Round Table?
No, I did not hear.
Yeah, his name was Circumference.
That was really good.
Boom.
I like that being in math.
I thought so too. Nicole she said that was dumb. That was really dumb. I'm like, but you're teaching math this year again. Like, it's a good math joke.
Nice. Have you watched Jungle Cruise by Disney yet?
No, it's, it hasn't, I mean, we have Disney Plus, but it hasn't, you'd have to pay for it. We don't have the premium.
Yeah, my kids are super excited. So we watched it one night, and you have to watch because it reminded me of The Rock tells like dad jokes for this entire cruise. Oh, nice. And so Liam, my 8-year-old, we have I don't even know what kind of countertops they are. But he's like, there's one about, gosh, I can't even remember it now. And he said it like 50 million times. I have the most terrible memory, but there's one about granite. And, but yeah, it just reminded me of terrible. Yeah. This part of you and Eric going back and forth.
Yeah. And he'll win. I mean, he wins every single time. I mean, I have to cheat and do research and have 4 or 5 written down or that I've, tried to remember, but yeah, they are so deep in, and he's so fast, he comes back with them. I think once you get going too, it triggers inside of him this reservoir of just more and more and more and more. And so I never win, but that's okay. Well, I have to say my ending with our gratitude, I'm super grateful for you, knowing that you were going to be leaving so quickly with us, that it was a lot of people. We had a girl who just started, Shelly took her through her foundations, but she's heading up to a foundations school. And then she's going to come back and go to the academy next year. So she's only coming for a month and a half. And initially I think I kind of would have been why? What's the point? But having had you recently kind of only be with us for a short period of time, but be such an open-minded and willing to really lean into it, and then getting to do this and see how, though we were only, your high school sweetheart flame that, and then you dumped us and left us on the side of the road after prom, and now you're off, philandering in Texas with all these other CrossFit affiliates. I'm very happy, and I'm very grateful that we were able to be a part of that first journey. So thank you, like really, and thanks for staying with it. Like this is, I'm almost 11 years in at this point, and I think you're going to find it is that thing that is going to replace all of that other stuff that scratched that competitive itch, but does it in a way that lets you seriously do this until you're 90.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a right back at you kind of thank you. Because I've been thinking about that the whole time that I was looking for gyms, is I was so grateful for the coaching and just, I would say, philosophy of Fairwinds.
Cool.
And it's that it is like a CrossFit gym, but it's not like a CrossFit gym. And it's not your Contender was your stereotypical CrossFit gym.
Or the one that gets that kind of has that bad stereotypical taste.
Yeah. Whereas I don't think I would have been brave enough to keep trying, especially with all of my injuries and limitations, to go someplace else had I not known
something else was possible.
Everything. Yeah, exactly. And I don't think Drew would have gotten involved either.
Cool.
Or he would have hurt himself.
Right. You go to, yeah. It's so easy to go to those types of places and tweak something. And then you're just kind of, we have a buddy, Eric, and he hurts his back from time to time, but he went to some place and they were doing deadlifts, and he's like, hey, I got my, I tweaked my back lifting something, the house. Is there, and I see it's deadlifts today. Is there anything else I can do? And the coach just looked at him and says, nah, man, you probably shouldn't have come today. that was their thing. He was like, okay, so you can go ahead and cancel my membership. I'm done here. Thanks. That was good.
Well, one thing the other week when I was at my 9 o'clock class, there were two, I call them kids, but they're graduates. There were 220. He was a 220 graduate of the academy, and then she's RATSI.
Okay.
And I was so happy to see young people
at Main Gate. Very cool.
This philosophy and this way of CrossFit early on.
Yes,
that was
agreed.
Cool.
Yeah. So 20 grand, huh? I wonder if they did it at Blue and Gold when they were there. Huh.
They probably did.
Yeah.
Although I promised him I wouldn't ask him any more Academy questions or Navy questions.
You promised those two that you wouldn't.
You guys probably get it all the time. Of course, being at a training base, it's like, oh, that's that old lady in there. So.
Well, Shannon, this was awesome. Thank you for filling in for me, but also, I mean it, for kicking off this series. This is a great. I'm really excited to reach out to other folks and kind of see where they are, and because a lot of them, the Grady's had been doing CrossFit, but it was kind of Steph's first, if they're next in the line, and a couple other folks who I think people will be really interested to hear where are they now and what are they doing on their CrossFit journey. So anything you want to leave us with?
I have words of wisdom.
You do? You have words of wisdom? You broke up there a little.
No great words of wisdom.
All right. other than Texas is interesting.
It's a whole new world.
It's a whole different place. All right. Well,
Shelly, bless your heart.
Yeah. Make sure you get that air conditioning serviced often, and you guys stay cool out there, down there, and we will we'll post some I don't know if you still have access to SugarWatt on our side, if you can see what we're doing, but I'm sure if you do go on Instagram or Facebook, Eric would appreciate a shout out from time to time if you see something you like. So
awesome. Yeah, will do.
All right. Take care.
See you later.
Bye.